A tale of two families. By favoring the father, both were foretold to flee from a land full of maleficent intent. But one family's fate was frozen, for it was found failing in its faith. The other was flying free, for it fed from it. A tale of two families. By favoring the father, both were foretold to flee from a land full of maleficent intent. But one family's fate was frozen, for it was found failing in its faith. The other was flying free, for it fed from it. A tale of two families.
As true as the deep and its blue, as true as its wind and all that it blew, as true as the rush when the Peter Better began to fall, as true as the promise of the rainbow and its hue, as true as its cost. A tale of two families.
As true as the fire and all that it feasts on, as true as the warning and the wail of angels that come with it, as true as the fall of conviction, as true as your pay when you play into the pale pleasures of the past, as true as the pillar of salt that traps you, as true as its cost.
A tale of two families.
By favoring the father,
Both were foretold to flee from a land full of maleficent intent. But one family's fate was frozen, for it was found failing in its faith. The other was flying free, for it fed from it. A tale of two families. By favoring the father, both were foretold to flee from a land full of maleficent intent. But one family's fate was frozen, for it was found failing in its faith. The other was flying free, for it fed from it. A tale of two families.
Umkhombe ubhembesile.
Ukungabi nambulelo.
Umkhombe ubhembesile.
Ukungabi nambulelo.
Uluntu luncamathele kwimbabala yolwantunge. Isizwe sitshate nenyamakazi yasezingqaqeni Chivela. Kwihlathi elingenamlinganiselo kodwa linesiphelo. Isizwe inkalo zombini sidlala ngomlilo. Abantu balukhwekhwe lwexhwili nxa esonweni. Indali izinze kuqhankqalazo nokrexo. Umkhombe ubhembesile. Yima ndikuchubela imbali malunga nezizwe ezingqonge lamakhaya ngokufutshane. Isono sele sifikile kwiimpumlo zikandikhoyo. Uburhalarhume bandile. Umzungcoliswe buburhinirhini, isono sinuka isirhogolo. Amadoda edadele enzulwini. Eliwelile ilitye likaphungele khanuka amanye amadoda. Besidla bezeka nguphantsi phezulu lwavala ucango. Inkali xingetyeni sizifake zatshona inzipho. Ngu-advisini esinye umnqophiso ongadalwanga. Iyalumaza yingxuba kaxaki into exakileyo. Isiphithiphithi sento. Isizukulwana sichokwe sisone. Sirhucele ludakeni isidima somdali. Sodom neGomora simangalisi isiphelo sakhe. Uzixoxele isikhuni somhlangothi. You chose to go astray, and fire took you away. Then water rose, not to redeem or mend, to destroy the sin that stained the land. Lothe nomhlambi wakwakho ikhaya. Noah nomhlambi wakwakho ikhaya. Nyukelani kwigumbi eliphezulu nawusindiswa ngamakhaya enu.
Faith caught my foot. Faith caught my foot. I built an ark to safeguard my kin amidst abominations darkening din. When sorrow's dawn broke, I did not tarry. I closed the door and my task was done. I did not lay on its chest. Before the deluge's water hung in suspense, I grasped the covenant with life's last breath's defense. In God's eyes, I found mercy's gentle hold, a strength that kept me steadfast, young and old. Upon opening wide the door, I beheld humanity's downfall, beauty's fleeting yield outward form, not character, their guide. Conviction's truth was hard to find. The paradox of faith, a recurring theme, fixing eyes on the unseen, a spiritual dream. Faith became my response to his command. Laboring for safety, I took up the stand. Scorn and insult my ministry's plight. Yet I let my words on copperwood take flight. In every chamber before the doors were sealed, I warned of coming floods. The deluge revealed. Built an ark to save my family. I did stand. Built an ark to save my family, even when the abominations of desolations wore the beginning of sorrow. I laid not on its chest, closed the door, my work complete. I did not lay on its chest the covenants promise my heart's last beat. In God's eyes, grace held me a steadfast seat. Faith became my immediate. Faith caught my foot.
Faith caught my foot. This is where I stand, with my toes tucked into the ground, eyes woven to the heavens, head held high above the clouds. Here I stand, my bones and flesh, born from the land and his breath. Here I stand, with a body bound to breath and breath promised to death. But in him I am everlasting. In him I am everlasting. In him I am forever trusting. And in him I shall know no end, for there is none. Here I stand, 10 toes to the ground, eyes woven to the heavens, walking to a place with walls made of grace. Here I stand, founded in the same faith as any man, often buried by its weight, but I am always carried in my weight for him. But for he is yet to return, and yet here I stand, 10 toes to the ground, my faith in one hand, my riches in the other. For I shall not forsake my flesh. Many a man find the fruits of faith by feasting in prayer. Mine also lies in diamonds and gold. Follow him, so I will collect every penny I am owed. Here I stand, 10 toes to the ground, 1 to 10. I count them each and every night, just as I do the money that is everyone's birthright, and my children are to be born of the same light. Here I stand. I say I walk with him, but here I stand. I offer my prayers to him, and while on my knees I will dig for more gold, here I stand with faith in my hands, but I will also take all that I can. Here I stand, and besides me, he stands, but I am so far from him. My life, I have had a heart full of feelings, free-falling for a fallen angel. I fornicate with the devil while trying to have a face-to-face conversation with God. And now, doom darkens the hour before me. As heaven rains down a fire like no other, the city burns behind me. Bodies buried in pain, too much to depict. What is there to say in such a place? Their flesh stays at the distance of the shadow. Even tongues abandon their voice. My feet find a purpose renewed. As I walk beside angels, I am carried by their wings. I am carried by the little faith that I have in God. I leave all my other treasures in the days of old. With me, I only have my devotee and teachings. And to what end other than that of my own? For they walk with a fate long forgotten. My wife's body now favors the taste of the ocean. She follows the wind like the sea. She shall never see her offsprings again, and they shall sin until they meet their grave. A tale of two families. By favoring the father, both were foretold to flee from a land full of maleficent intent. But one family's fate was frozen, for it was found failing in its faith. The other was flying free, for it fed from it. A tale of two families.